I'd like to welcome everybody here. So, on behalf of the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail, Céad Míle Fáilte, 100,000 welcomes to you all. It is quite an extraordinary tribute to all of the people who have worked to make this day happen. And first and foremost, we'd like to acknowledge the distinguished guests who are here today. Consul General of Ireland, Alicia Moore, Jim Cantwell, representing United States Senator Ed Markey, State Senators Patrick O'Connor and Susan Moran, State Representatives from the 9 towns on the trail, James Murphy, Patrick Kearney, Kathleen Nanatra, Joan Moschino, Josh Cutler, Matthew Muratori. And we'd also like to acknowledge the presence of a distinguished historian, resident of Scituate, and a great mentor and friend to all things Irish on the South Shore, Professor Catherine Shannon. We also want to acknowledge the presence of the town officials from all 9 towns, from Weymouth to Plymouth. And what an honor it is that you're here in support of this trail. In order to start the event and this launch, we'd like to ask Maureen E. Haiti to sing the Irish National Anthem and the American National Anthem.
What a juxtaposition from the last time we were here, freezing to frying. Again, it just struck me as I'm coming in from the absolute darkness, weariness, hunger, oppressed, to come to such opulence, wealth, power, and acknowledgement of your heritage. What a wonderful day to be Irish. Sinna fianna foil atá fial egéirin buin dar slua ar tír da hánig chuin fé void the sir shantír ar sinchir fasta Niach for Quintiran na fintroil and knock the Rhine to Varna will le gan well han bos no sil le gan ish grell fel lavach na belar shall live cani on the Vian. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight on the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still rest. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you so much, Maureen. one of the things that is amazing about Maureen is anytime we have had an event along the South Shore involving the Irish, our history and our heritage, Maureen has always stepped to the fore, be it the commemoration of the Easter Rising every April or the Brig St. John Mass that has been celebrated for the past 30 years in Cohasset. Maureen has always been a part of that. So, Maureen, thank you very much. As I said, we're fortunate enough to have a number of distinguished guests with us today. And the first guest we'd like to introduce is someone who has been at the fore in supporting the commemoration of the Easter Rising every year, and also, in particular, the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail, Senator Patrick O'Connor.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today with Representative Kearney and Representative Murphy. Representative Murphy and I actually just celebrated a 200th anniversary at the East Weymouth Congregational Church just prior to this, and it's great to be able to be out here in the community. This idea is really such a great example of community members trying to put something in motion and just having a great idea. I think that this is really going to be something spectacular. It's going to really be a hallmark, in my opinion, of the 7 communities that I represent that are part of this. When Brenda first told me that this was something that they wanted to do and brought the whole group of people together, I thought that this was something that we wanted to have happen and wanted to support the legislature. And so what we did was we secured a very small earmark as sort of seed funding through the state budget and the state Senate and the State House of Representatives, working with Representative Kearney on that. And that money has since gone into an investment, and since that point in time, the organization was able to apply for a grant, and the Office of Travel and Tourism has bought into this idea as well, pretty significantly, through the Sea Plymouth organization, as far as where the funding's going to come from. But this is going to be something that's going to be a real hallmark in this community, and I think that with all the Irish heritage that we have here on the South Shore, it's something that's really needed. And as far as the sister city component, Scituate's really been, in my opinion, just really ahead of the game when it comes to finding unique opportunities to be able to partner with other countries and other communities to try and increase tourism. And, you know, who wouldn't want to come to Scituate and see this beautiful place? I mean, today is a perfect example of why we're doing this, and I think this is going to be a really special thing. So I just wanted to thank everybody for being here, and honestly, you know, our work's the easy work as far as just trying to go up and sell something that's just such a great idea. And so I wanted to thank all the people who are behind me right now, and all the people who believed in this, and it's great to be here today to see this vision become a reality, and to continue the support from the state to make sure that this is the best it possibly can be. So I wanted to thank everyone. Thank you.
Next, we're going to hear from State Representative James Murphy.
Consul General John, distinguished guests on the platform here, and all of you out there in the audience, thank you for making today possible. I'm looking at the names in the books here. I'm looking at Kearney, Murphy, O'Connor. It wasn't too long ago that people like us weren't really accepted in the Massachusetts legislature, but how far we've come, haven't we? So today's a great day. It marks the beginning of the Heritage Trail. And in my family, my father's from County Kerry, Ireland, so I spent every August in Ireland. Puck Fair, if anybody's heard of Puck Fair, Colloquially, where they name a goat a Puck King for a week, and we go and party for the first week of August for an entire week around a goat that's elevated about 50 feet up in the air. It's a reason to go back to Ireland every August. My father's one of 9, and 6 of his siblings are still in Ireland, so for me, my Irish heritage has always been very important to me, as it has to many of us here on the South Shore. the Irish Riviera, as they call it. There's a reason they call it that. We all know why. The amount of Irish in this area that originally came to this country, and then Irish Americans that have moved down here along the South Shore that played a vital role in the creation of our country and the creation of the South Shore. So I value my heritage, and to me, this trail will always mark the efforts that many of us in the Irish community have gone and made to our entire country and to our entire nation. So it's an honor to be here today. I'm waiting for my daughter Maeve to come with my wife. Maeve had an Irish fish today, so she'll be here anytime soon. But it's an honor to be here today, to be here with all of you, and to congratulate each one of you on a job well done. So congratulations to everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Murphy. Yes, excuse me.
I'd be remiss if I didn't do this. I was talking to Ambassador Cronin, who this morning, and thank God I didn't forget to do this. So Ambassador Claire Cronin was a state rep with all of us in the House, and now she's the U.S. Ambassador to Ireland, and she wanted me to read something to all of you. Yeah. Claire would kill me if I didn't do this. So, how nice is it, how cool is it to say that you know the U.S. Ambassador to Ireland? Who would have thought? But she's a good friend to all of us in the legislature. So this is from Claire Cronin, United States Ambassador to Ireland. It's an honor to bring greetings to you from the United States Embassy in Dublin. Today marks the official launch of the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail, a vision that started when I served as a legislator with my esteemed colleagues on Beacon Hill. I'd like to send my congratulations to all of you on the South Shore and throughout the Commonwealth who helped make this extraordinary day possible. The South Shore of Massachusetts is a beautiful, vibrant, and thriving community and has long served as home to generations of Irish and Irish Americans who helped build the very foundation of our nation. In fact, the South Shore has the highest percentage of residents of Irish descent of anywhere in the country, an amazing fact to say the least. I am truly proud of the work that was put into making the trail possible, and I'd like to thank all of you who helped us get there. The impact the Irish have had in Massachusetts has been historically profound and rings true throughout the communities today. This trail will connect Weymouth to Plymouth, two of the oldest and most Irish towns in the Commonwealth. All of us in these communities, and every city and town in between, will benefit from this outdoor trail, and the proud history of the Irish throughout the South Shore will forever be remembered and celebrated by the creation of this trail. Thank you again to all of you who joined in today's launch, and thank you to the members of the state legislature, city government, volunteers, and so many people who made this day possible. Be well, and best wishes, Claire Cronin, United States Ambassador to Ireland. Thank you to Claire Cronin.
Thank you. That's a great touch from Ambassador Cronin. Before I introduce the next guest, Consul General Alicia Moore, just wanted to say that since she came to Boston, Consul General Moore has been supportive of everything Irish in the town of Scituate. And as many of you know, most of the folks who have made today happen have done so on a volunteer basis. And from the start, Consul General Moore has been extraordinarily supportive of all things Scituate. And this is just an extension of what has been done to bring us to this point today. So she was unable to be here for the dedication of the monument, so it's great that she was able to be here this very special day. Consul General Alicia Moore.
Thank you very much, John. It's really wonderful to be here, to be back here again, and by all accounts, it's significantly warmer this time around, so I timed it well. As John has said, since I have been here in Massachusetts, it's coming up on 3 years now, which I can't quite believe. I have been absolutely bowled over by the extraordinarily warm welcome of people of Scituate and the South Shore. I've been lucky enough to be invited along to your occasions and events several times, and I have enjoyed every single one of them immensely. And I know many of those places, Scituate, Cohasset and more, many of those places are on this new Irish Heritage Trail. So it's really wonderful that this initiative is here and that people are going to be able to experience all of it. And I look forward I have seen some of the extraordinary Irish heritage of the South Shore, the extraordinary history here, but I haven't seen all of them. I was looking actually at the Heritage Trail's wonderful website. If you haven't been on it yet, I strongly recommend that you go onto it. It's extraordinary and it's really beautiful. And it talks about the history of the South Shore all the way from the 1600s to now. And just having the opportunity to explore that really rich history of all of the towns along the South Shore, it's going to be really something. It's something that I look forward to doing with my own family, to do the entire trail. But I know as well that it's going to be an opportunity for Irish people who come and visit. They can experience the Heritage Trail. And also, you know, Irish Americans and Americans from across the US will be able to come here and explore that really rich history in what is surely one of the most beautiful places in the United States. So I'm going to drop this microphone. Okay, anyway, so that was really what I wanted to say. I wanted to say thank you very much to everybody who made this possible. As John said, it's been really the extraordinary work of the volunteers, the officers and the board of the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail, Brenda O'Connor especially, the elected representatives of the state of Massachusetts, everybody who has worked to make this happen. The Irish government, through the Immigrant Support Programme, has, in a small way, contributed to this endeavour, and we're really, really proud to have done so. We're really proud to be a small part of it because of the extraordinary work that the people in this area have done, celebrating the history of Ireland's links with this part of the United States, but this initiatives like the Heritage Trail means that those links really, as well as having a really strong history, they have a really strong future too. So thank you very much for everything that you've done, and I'm really, really looking forward to actually walking the trail myself one of these days. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you, Consul General Moore. The next guest is the chair of the Situate West Cork Group, Siobhan Hunter. And Siobhan has done a great job rebuilding the ties between West Cork and Situate, and was the catalyst of the core group of the Situate West Cork Group that formed the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail Group. So, Siobhan?
So last time I was freezing, so this is a pleasant change from the last time. And I know you're hot down there, so I'll make sure this is brief. And Brenda will be expounding more on the trail itself. But Situate has been twinned with West Cork since 2016, and our committee was appointed in 2017. We were tasked with not only creating and maintaining a relationship with West Cork community via an exchange of ideas and people, but we also wanted to acknowledge and preserve the contributions of the Irish immigrants and descendants, not only in Situate, but the South Shore and the U.S. Our sister city is actually the West Cork region, in an effort to attain a comparable population size, bless you. And so, in West Cork, there's also, it's part of the Wild Atlantic Way. If you haven't seen that website, the Wild Atlantic Way, I encourage you to check it out because it's an amazing website, and that's really been the model as to what we've been aspiring to with this South Shore Irish Heritage Trail. So when Brenda mentioned this crazy idea at one meeting about putting together a heritage trail on the South Shore, it took off, and it's been years in the making. So now, this idea has always been took a special place in my heart. I'm first-generation American, with my mom hailing from Timoleague in West Cork, and my dad, a very staunch nationalist that grew up in on the Glen Road in Belfast. So much so that when he was immigrating to this country, he made sure he took a train down to Dublin with his sister and mom to make sure that he obtained his Irish passport before leaving. They both came here for work and better opportunities that they hadn't had back home. The two met in Boston through their immigration lawyer, and the rest is history. Like many people of their generation, and generations before, that does feel good, I must say, the wind. There are some subjects that they feverishly like to talk about, but also others they did not. My mom in particular, having an exceedingly difficult childhood, felt shame in how she grew up, and and now she's going to haunt me in my dreams for even saying that. But my dad was a bit more open about the shenanigans as a child and a teenager when he'd hang out at the Falls Road in Belfast. Either way, they were both extremely proud of being Irish and made sure we grew up going to Irish social clubs to understand our community and appreciate our heritage. Although both are no longer with us to share the enthusiasm nor the stories, my son Declan, who will soon be 7 and an unofficial mascot of the committee, has had a chance to know them. So he's come to every meeting, God bless him, and that's 2. So that's the West Cork and the South Shore Irish Heritage. He's an expert by now on everything. That made it more important to me, for me, to make sure he knows the hard work and sacrifices that they had made to make my life, my siblings' lives, and therefore his life better. The U.S. as we know it was founded by immigrants and descendants of immigrants. We are taught history not only so we can appreciate their sacrifices and hard work, but so we can learn from their successes and their mistakes. Although these days, things will change a little bit. There's also obviously an imperative economic benefit to bring people from all over to the South Shore, which Brenda will also elaborate on. The trail is beneficial in so many ways to 9 towns from Weymouth down to Plymouth, but it wouldn't have been possible without the hard work of so many people. The 9 towns included the historical societies, the Commonwealth, the Irish government, of course, which started off with the seed money and their wonderful support, and of course our fervent committee. So first of all, hold on, it's windy. Brenda O'Connor, our president, a retired Cambridge teacher, but now somehow works 80 hours a week, so I don't know how that happened. Carol Sullivan-Hanley, not only Scituate's Democrat of the Year, but one of the most feisty and passionate women I've ever met. Put her in her glass. John Sullivan, he's not only a family attorney by day, but he's responsible for the Easter Rising Monument that you see over here, and part of many other committees and boards, Irish and otherwise, including the Ancient Order of Hibernians. And we're summing it up, sorry. Windy. Maureen Dinsmore, she is a tenacious saleswoman and literally no challenge that life has given her, none, will stop her. If I had a solar panel company, I would have her work for me. She'd be my number 1 saleswoman. Jim Canavan, who is not here today, not only he brings us humor to every meeting, but his impressive knowledge of nonprofits. He's always been our imperative in taking photos for our stops. Patrice May, director of the South Shore Arts Center, wife, mother of 2 boys, members of countless other committees. Where are you? There she is. Woo! Somehow never let us down and does so much with so much grace. Peter Mahegan, you guys might know him, a retired Chronicle journalist and phenomenal voice of our committee. His professional experience and talents has been invaluable, and I hope to get him to record many of Declan's books so I don't have to read them. And he's got that voice. You can make a killing. That's a second career for you. Ray Volker, our newest member, he discovered his new connection to his Irish roots and has always been there when we need him. Vinny, where are you? There he is. He is a ray of sunshine and overall fantastic guy. Given any task, he will be there and get it done. Pat Chakar, a wealth of knowledge, just loves her Irish and French roots and is a true culture enthusiast. Last but not least, I hope, or else I miss something. Christine Walsh, mortgages by day, several committees by night, and all things Scituate. Also resourceful and always good crack. Thank you all that have made this possible. We look forward to seeing you and others on the trail, and we're looking forward to other immigrant trails from all over the globe. So today, let's remember our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents and ancestors. Let's remember where we came from so we can appreciate our future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Siobhan. Siobhan herself is an extraordinarily hardworking woman in many, many areas, not only as a realtor and as a mom, but she's been a great, great force and supporter for both the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail and the Scituate West Cork Group. Before I introduce the next person, Brenda O'Connor, so much of today would never have happened were it not for Brenda. She has, from day one, been the driving force for the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail. And although the idea, the genesis for the idea, may be the Wild Atlantic Way in Ireland. Brenda was able to take that blueprint and, with the help of a team, make it a reality. You cannot underestimate Brenda, ever. She's an extraordinary worker. She'll send you an email at 11 at night, 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning. She's constantly been working to make today happen. And one of the things that's fascinating about this trail is once we got started on it, we have learned more and more and more about how the Irish have contributed to the fabric of each and every town on the South Shore. We learned about the extraordinary Congressional Medal of Honor winners in the city of Weymouth. We learned about the Irish being in Plymouth in the 1600s. We learned about the first masses that were celebrated in Plymouth. We learned about the Irish and the Mawson Museum in Scituate, the Brig St. John in Cohasset, and so many other aspects of Irish and how they have contributed to the fabric of each and every town along the way. And through all of this, it's been Brenda who has been coordinating all the team to make it into a cogent, cohesive project. So it's tremendous that we have, as one of our final speakers, Brenda O'Connor.
Thank you, John. I would be remiss if I didn't echo John's words of thanks to the Government of Ireland through the Immigrant Support Program. Their seed money and support from the very beginning made the trail possible. For our inclusion in the Commonwealth's budget, we thank Senator Patrick O'Connor and the representatives present. I want to also acknowledge and thank Sea Plymouth, the official Commonwealth of Massachusetts tourist office in Plymouth County. Their grant award enables us to have an advertising blitz beginning this week and continuing through Labor Day. They were awarded $90,000, and $75,000 of that is going to advertising. So the ranking of that will feature northeastern United States, eastern Canada, and Ireland. So we're expecting visitors here this summer. And Sea Plymouth also shared some statistics with us. I won't go into all of them because I'm not a statistician, but nearly 3,500 businesses in the 9 towns will benefit from increased visitors because of the trail. I must acknowledge the historical societies in our members' town. Their knowledge, their passion, and their willingness to work with us were essential to the success of the project. And Jane Higgins Norton, the graphic artist who organized and presented materials in the outstanding brochures before you, was as committed to and passionate about the project as the committee. I cannot tell you the long hours and hard work she enthusiastically put in to enhance our work. When he was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1995, Seamus Heaney was cited for exalting everyday miracles in the living past. The poems he wrote about a few miles in County Derry were not just about the place, but also resonated with people thousands of miles away. The human experience is universal. So too, the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail celebration of ordinary people, their striving, their hardships, their determination in the face of disease and prejudice, their persistence, and their victories, their everyday miracles, mirror challenges of all immigrant groups. The human experience is indeed universal. And I'm stuck. Now, if I were alone, I'd spit on my finger and make this easier, but I'm not alone, so I can't. The committee, through the proverbial blood, sweat, and tears, has accomplished much. Every member contributed. Every member contributed generously, shared their talents, which are considerable. Every member supported each other. We had 9 ambassadors, 1 for each town. They dedicated many hours, days, weeks, and more exploring their towns, engaging government, historical societies, businesses, and frankly, anyone who would talk to them. They walked the streets of Little Dublin, touched the grave markers of immigrants, and saw Irish names on Civil War and other memorials. They saw places where the South Shore Irish lived, worked, and built new lives. The committee did this work along with their counterparts in our partner towns. We are grateful to the many who helped us. And this is a personal point of privilege that I have to acknowledge Eileen from Hingham. She was, no matter what we asked her to do, she did it, and she did it beautifully, and I am very grateful. It has been my great honor to work with all these people. Without this committee, I would be that person people try to avoid at cocktail parties. Forever talking about that one great idea. We could have, should have, would have. Without this committee, quite frankly, the trail would never have happened. As John Lennon said, a dream you dream alone is only a dream. A dream you dream together is reality. And today we celebrate the reality that is the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail. For their work in making the dream real for the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail, I thank them. And I ask all present here to do the same. And each day we learn something new, and I learned something new today. The huge Irish industry in Situate was Irish mossing, and we have the great-grandniece of the founder of that industry with us today. And just wave at everyone. Daniel Ward's great-grandniece. So he's with us. And one more point of personal privilege. In our, of course, I will tell you, last Wednesday they gave me the hook in Plymouth. And I will try not to earn that here. I only have one more thing. And that is, Irish maids were known as Bridgets. And that was because the people who employed them couldn't be bothered learning their name. So they all were Bridget. And my grandmother was one of them. And today, we are bringing back, it was a name of derision, really. We are bringing back the honor and reclaiming the name Bridget as a proud, wonderful Irish woman's name. And the day my grandmother got married, when she left the employment of the house in Cambridge where she worked, the family gave her this cameo. And that and her gold wedding ring were the only pieces of jewelry she ever had. And now I wear it today in her honor.
Thank you very much. The other person who we should also acknowledge is Leah Filson. Leah, if you could just stand, please. Leah's been tremendously helpful from day one insofar as guidance, advice, suggestions, and she has been a tremendous source of support throughout this entire project. Our next guest is a proud son of Situate and a former losser as well, which puts him up in a whole different category all his own. But Peter McGeegan is, as you may know, has been on Chronicle for a long, long period of time and has been a tremendous supporter not only in the Situate West Cork group but also in the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail. And we're honored that he is the keynote speaker today. Peter.
Thanks, everybody. I thought I had left Florida in the rearview mirror. You will not be unhappy, I suspect, if I take this terrific speech that I labored so hard in writing and abbreviate it as I go along. I'm going to be my own best editor, and I'm going to take pity on you because our group, our ethnic group, was not made for sitting out in the damn sun. And with the genius of good timing, as soon as John stepped up here, the sea breeze stopped, up came the southwest wind, and here comes the 90-degree weather. So just a little flavor, perhaps, of what I was going to say at some length. There's an old Irish joke about a priest driving a bit erratically on a country road in Cork when he gets pulled over by a policeman who notices a half-empty wine bottle in the front seat. "Have you been drinking, Father?" the officer inquires. "Just water," says the priest. "Then why do I smell wine?" the policeman asks. The priest looks at the bottle and says, "Good Lord, he's done it again." So we speak of miracles here, and it was nothing short of miraculous that something as ambitious as the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail was created by a group of raw amateurs. I include myself in that number in just a few months' time. That miracle could not have happened without the generosity of the Irish government, our friends in the legislature that we are honored to see here today, and town governments, and the invaluable assistance of local people who have an interest in history in these 9 towns and helped us so much. Under the determined leadership, and I do mean determined, of our president, Brenda O'Connor, we first figured out how this trail would run, the configuration from Weymouth down to Plymouth. But what to include in it, that was the challenge. Fortunately for us, there turned out to be a lot of evidence of the impact Irish immigrants had on the South Shore. We set about identifying sites that had some connection, links to these early immigrants. And at first, just a relative few came here. I suspect the Wards were among the early ones who came to Scituate, but then came the famine. And I don't have to tell you what happened then. That trickle of immigration turned into a great, tragic flood of desperate people. So we had those stories of the early immigrants and the sites, and these folks who came here had within them an anger. It reflected what they'd been through, the nightmare they had experienced in Ireland under British rule, an exploitive system that deprived them of basic freedoms and property rights, a callous indifference to the mass starvation that gripped Ireland when the potato crop, their main source of food and income, was destroyed by blight in successive years. That anger would smolder, and it would eventually boil over in the event marked by this monument to my right here, to the Easter Rising of 1921, the start of the War of Independence, that after much blood and many tears would lead to establishment of a free and independent Irish state. That monument is one of many landmarks we include from all 9 towns that will make up the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail. I was going to run through a litany of these landmarks, but as I say, I'm going to show you some pity here and do some editing as I go along. There goes page 2. So moving along to page 3. We mentioned Brenda mentioned and someone else mentioned the website, which is really terrific, and I think it's going to help people immeasurably as they navigate this trail. The idea, as Brenda often says, is to celebrate and educate the achievements of the Irish who helped build these coastal communities. And another purpose is to help boost the economies of these 9 towns through tourism. These trails work, as we know from their successes elsewhere, from the Great Atlantic Way in Ireland to one of my delicious favorites, the Maine Oyster Trail. I mean, you can make a trail out of anything if you're creative enough. In the years after the great Irish wave of immigration, millions of others from other countries and traditions would sail by the Statue of Liberty with its inspiring inscription from Emma Lazarus. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Despite these sentiments, immigration was always controversial, and it's become so political, as we all know. One could argue, I suppose, that some of the opposition that the Irish felt here was understandable, given that so many of the came aboard these ships were sick of typhus and other contagious diseases. Who would want them to come ashore in their neighborhoods? But there was generosity, and they, in many cases, were welcomed, but not always. Much of the sentiment against the Irish was grounded in outright bigotry. The burning of the Catholic Ursuline convent in Boston, and later the signs in business windows with the letters N-I-N-A, no Irish need apply. Well, we got our revenge. The next Irish generation could buy some of these businesses. Here in Situate, the club where I play golf was founded by Boston Brahmins. No Irish need apply. Joseph P. Kennedy, the father of President John Kennedy, summering in Hull, was blackballed by a neighboring golf club. He would play his golf at Hyannisport. But in 1929, a funny thing happened. The Brahmins lost most of their Situate summer mansions in the Wall Street crash. They were scooped up, in many cases, by the descendants of Irish immigrants who had found success in business and the professions. The Brahmin golf clubs became mostly Irish clubs. The black balls were no more. All were welcome. So the immigrant spirit we honor in the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail still burns brightly. May it always be so. Thank you. The abbreviated version, John, you'll be happy to know. I'm going to make John listen to the whole thing sometime.
I'll read it later. Thank you very much, Peter. We're going to conclude with a short ribbon cutting ceremony. But one more thing that we wanted to say on behalf of the South Shore Irish Heritage Trail, as I think Brenda mentioned, we had 9 ambassadors to the towns on the trail, and what we would extend to all of you is that now you are all ambassadors to the trail. All of us who are from this area knows that there's a lot to see and do between Boston and Cape Cod. Get off of Route 3, go along the coastline, and realize that each one of these towns has a distinct personality. And each one of these towns has been built upon the fabric of the Irish, who have contributed to every single town between Weymouth and Plymouth. So we would encourage you, let people know about the trail, let people know how the Irish have helped improve and affected each one of the towns along the coastline, and this will be a success by any measure. We want to thank you all for coming out, and we'll do the first ribbon cutting.
Before we do the ribbon cutting, I just want to let you know that we are having a gala party at the Barker Tavern, and we do have a few tickets left. If you haven't bought a ticket and want to do so, Siobhan is the person to see, and we would welcome you there. We're going to take 3 pictures because we figured the chaos of having everybody come up here would be too much. So we are going to first take the committee. The 4 people is the Consul General of Ireland, Senator O'Connor representing the Commonwealth, Siobhan and myself. We'll cut the ribbon. But in the first picture we'll have all our committee with us. The second picture we ask all the state senators and representatives to join us. In the third picture, all of the local government. So we'll try and be fast, but this was the most expedient way of doing it. Thank you.
Greg.